other suitors in the game for Dalvin Cook. We know the New England Patriots are interested. They will visit the New York Jets over the weekend.
I want everybody to know, I'm the victim in the situation. The truth and the details about the situation will come out.
We've been making a lot of content on running backs in the NFL recently, and there's one in particular that's always fascinated me, and it seems like there's some information that is coming back up that could potentially jeopardize this man's career and his opportunity to get back into the NFL. So before we get to the content, we're running a huge giveaway, giving away a $1,000 split between 5 subscribers that turn on their notifications on this channel. Now that we get all that out of the way, work! Like check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's been a huge topic recently. Running backs have had trouble getting paid. It's been so bad that they decided to hop into a Zoom call to figure out what they can do to help their situation. My personal favorite part about this entire running back fiasco is Saquon Barkley. I mean, this man was quite literally offered a 3-year, $36 million contract extension. He turned it down. He then demanded to get paid $14 million a year annually. The Giants told him to off. Afterwards, Saquon Barkley said, "Okay, well, can I have the original offer back?" And the Giants said,
"Nope, that's off the table now."
Then they said that they were tagging Saquon Barkley and he was about to hold out. So at the end, Saquon signed a 1-year, $11 million contract because he didn't understand his leverage. It's unfortunate. But another situation that's just head scratching to say the least is the case of Dalvin Cook. You see, Dalvin Cook was more a consequence of the fact that his head coach Kevin O'Connell was there when Sean McVay quite literally built an offense off of a running back, Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was prolific as hell in that offense, but unfortunately sustained an injury when it mattered the most, just a couple of games before the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. And everything in the Sean McVay offense fell apart as a result of that. Kevin O'Connell was an assistant to see that, and he also saw that Sean McVay had significantly more success when he built an offense around Cooper Kupp as opposed to his running back. And ultimately, that resulted in Sean McVay winning his first Super Bowl. Why am I bringing this up? Well, in the case of Dalvin Cook, over the past 4 years of his career, he has been consistent as ever. He's made it to the Pro Bowl each and every single one of those years, and is without a doubt one of the premier running backs in the NFL. Although you could make an argument that this past year, at least in terms of direct yards per game, he took a step back and he wasn't nearly as prolific as he was in 2020 from scrimmage. But one thing that Dalvin Cook was able to do was play a full slate of games this past year by playing in 17 of them. And how did the Minnesota Vikings reward him? Well, they decided to release him at the end of the season. At this point, Dalvin Cook had played 6 seasons for the Minnesota Vikings. His best years were clearly behind him. He's about to turn 28 years old. So who knows how many more years of productivity Dalvin Cook truly has. And Dalvin Cook has been a free agent ever since. This free agency has been as interesting as DeAndre Hopkins' free agency. Because if DeAndre Hopkins was having trouble finding a team, it was primarily because he was released during a horrific time to be released during the offseason. He was released following the NFL draft, following the free agency period. Most teams already had their game plans and their roster set up. Ultimately, DeAndre Hopkins, after a couple of months, would sign with the Tennessee Titans. What about Dalvin Cook? Well, there were rumors. Maybe he goes to play for Miami because he went to college in Florida. Man was born in Miami, Florida, for crying out loud. He'll get to go home and he'll be on a contending team. On a team coached by Mike McDaniel, who is very prolific in zone running schemes. He'll be on the same team as Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Or maybe he goes to the Buffalo Bills and he teams up with his brother James Cook and tries to chase a ring. The Patriots were interested, but ended up not going through with it. Going into this month, there was no doubt in anyone's mind. The number one contender to sign Dalvin Cook was the New York Jets, but they didn't jump on the opportunity to sign Dalvin Cook almost immediately. Why? Could it be the pushback that Breece Hall and Michael Carter gave back when Ezekiel Elliott stated that he was interested in signing with the Jets back in March? I don't necessarily think that would be the case. Bear in mind, this was also before the Aaron Rodgers trade became official. So what could it be? Well, there's one of two scenarios at play here. The first one being a huge wrench that was thrown in is the fact that a part of Dalvin Cook's history, one that we covered on this channel a little bit over 2 years ago, has recently reoccurred and is in in the spotlight once again. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer. The information I'm about to give you has multiple sides. I mean, I think this is really unique in that sense because typically we only get one side of the story. In this particular instance, it seems as though we are getting multiple sides to the story. We're getting what Dalvin Cook wants you to believe, and we're also getting what his ex-girlfriend wants you to believe. So I'm going to just read both of them to you, and honestly, I'm not really going to take a side on this. You guys could determine it for yourself. Originally in November 2021, the original report stated that Dalvin Cook claimed that he was attacked. The Minnesota Vikings at the time said that we received a notification from Dalvin Cook's legal representative regarding a situation that occurred between Dalvin and a female acquaintance in November of 2020 and led to an ongoing dispute between the parties. Upon learning of this, we immediately notified the NFL. We are in the process of gathering more information and will withhold further comment at this time. So what is alleged in this particular instance? Well, this is where it gets crazy. This is what Dalvin Cook's attorney had to say at the time. On the evening of November 19th, 2020, U.S. military sergeant First Class Graceland Trimble broke into the home of Dalvin Cook and assaulted him and his two house guests. Sergeant Trimble and her attorneys are now attempting to extort him for millions of dollars. While Mr. Cook and Sergeant Trimble had a short-term relationship over several months, she became emotionally abusive, physically aggressive, and confrontational, and repeatedly attempted to provoke Mr. Cook. Sergeant Trimble damaged his vehicle on at least 2 occasions, assaulted him, and even attempted to stop him from seeing other women. The state of Minnesota applies the Castle Doctrine as it pertains to self-defense, which means when an intruder enters your home, you have the right to defend yourself and your family or guests. This right to self-defense includes the use of deadly force based on the nature of the perceived threat. Almost a year ago, on the evening of November 19, 2020, Sergeant Trimble unlawfully and without the consent or knowledge of Mr. Cook entered his residence in Inver Grove Heights. Sergeant Trimble gained entry into Mr. Cook's residence with a stolen garage door opener. Upon entry into the residence, Sergeant Trimble immediately and without provocation physically assaulted Mr. Cook, punched him repeatedly, and maced Mr. Cook directly in the eyes and then maced 2 of his house guests. While Mr. Cook was trying to alleviate the burning of his eyes from the mace, Sergeant Trimble sprayed a second round of mace in his face and then proceeded to arm herself with a firearm. Sergeant Trimble forced Mr. Cook and his guests at gunpoint to remain in his residence for the next several hours. During this hostage situation, Sergeant Trimble tried to again assault a female guest of Mr. Cook, and when Mr. Cook tried to stop the attack, Sergeant Trimble was knocked to the ground and suffered a small cut above her nose. These facts are confirmed by at least 2 independent witnesses. Based on the information, Sergeant Trimble has a prior history of violence, including repeated instances of criminal damage to Mr. Cook's property. Sergeant Trimble broke numerous laws on the evening of November 19, 2020, and for the better part of a year, Sergeant Trimble has been attempting to extort money from Mr. Cook. We are confident a full disclosure of the facts will show Mr. Cook did nothing wrong, and any injury Sergeant Trimble may have sustained that evening was the result of Sergeant Trimble's own unlawful conduct. Roughly a year ago, someone unlawfully entered Cook's house. The female who did it is a sergeant in the U.S. military, attacked Cook in his home while he had a guest present. The invader then allegedly tried to extort Cook for millions of dollars, claiming that she suffered injury during the course of the attack that she allegedly initiated. Because she allegedly entered Cook's house illegally, he had the right to defend himself, as authorized by Minnesota's version of the Castle Doctrine. Litigation per Hiller has not been commenced, but it's still in the process of being initiated. No criminal complaints have been filed in connection with the incident. So this report is about 2 years old, and what's unique about this story is we actually get Graceland Trimble's side of the story, and her rebuttal is the fact that she is 5'5" and alleges that Dalvin Cook assaulted and falsely imprisoned her. He claims that she attacked him. Now, here are the pictures she filed as exhibits to her Dakota County civil lawsuit. She says she suffered a concussion, cuts and bruises. I don't know if I could really show you guys this image. I'll leave it in my Instagram story or at the very least on the reel. According to the lawsuit, Cook and Trimble met on a Florida beach in 2018 and began an off and on and sometimes rocky relationship. Trimble flew to Minnesota on November 19th to break up with Cook and get her things from his Inver Grove Heights home. She entered through the garage, grabbing mace she stored there on her way in. Trimble claims in the filing that Cook got angry when she asked for his help in gathering her things. Cook grabbed her arm arm and slung her whole body over the couch, slamming her face into the coffee table and causing her lower forehead and the bridge of her nose to bust open. He attempted to spray the mace at Cook, but he overpowered her, and the mace went into her eyes. She went to shower when she was allegedly assaulted again. Then Trimble went into the bedroom, grabbed Cook's gun, and called her friend. According to the lawsuit, Cook overheard her and threatened her and beat her with a broomstick. The next morning, when Cook took her to the airport, Trimble covered her injuries with a hooded sweatshirt, sunglasses, and a face mask. On November 25th in Florida, when she sought treatment for her injury, she told medical personnel that she had been in an ATV accident. She learned that she had a concussion along with several deep cuts and bruising. Trimble would also release these text messages with Dalvin Cook, where Dalvin Cook said, "I know what I did can't be rewind, but I just want you to know I'm sorry. I love you so much despite you thinking I don't or never did, but I do. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. And if you want to go to the police, I respect that. I'll take my punishment for what I did." Her response was, "Dalvin, my face is so messed up. I probably won't be able to go to see my family for Thanksgiving." Dalvin responded, allegedly, "And I'm sorry for that, but the situation got out of hand from the jump. Can you come back to me?" Then she sent additional pictures of herself. So there's two sides to this story, and given my history of sometimes not getting this correct, I'm gonna let you guys decide which side you want to take here. What I can say is there is a chance that Dalvin Cook could get suspended in the future for this, which was holding some teams back from giving him a long-term contract. Now, the second could be, and this is just given how the day went, about 2 hours before this news broke, we had breaking news that former Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott officially agreed to a deal with the New England Patriots. That deal was for about 1 year and $6 million. We officially got word about an hour and a half later from Ian Rappaport that the New York Jets are signing former Vikings halfback Dalvin Cook. Sources tell Ian and Tom Pelissaro. The top free agent available, the Jets add another weapon for new QB Aaron Rodgers and company as the New York Jets load up. The worst secret is no longer a secret. Dalvin is a New York Jet. The deal is reported to be 1 year and $8.6 million. Now, this is fantastic value. Bear in mind, this isn't $8.6 million guaranteed. It could be worth up to $8.6 million. When you take a look at the New York Jets offense, they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook at running back. At wide receiver, they have Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman, Corey Davis, and Randall Cobb. And at tight end, they have CJ Uzoma, Tyler Conklin, and Jeremy Rucker. The defense speaks for itself, and probably my favorite part about all of this is the fact that we're going to get to see Dalvin Cook officially sign with the New York Jets on Hard Knocks within the next week. So obviously this is a home run. I think this could save Dalvin Cook's career. On top of that, this could be something that gives running back some hope, considering the fact that he's getting paid a 1 year, $8.6 million contract, which is about $3 million less than Saquon Barkley, despite Dalvin Cook being 2 years older than Saquon Barkley. We'll keep you guys posted on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about the situation. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.